I never thought a stranger could change the way I saw myself. But the first time I watched Jonathan Bailey on screen, something shifted inside me. It wasn't about the character he played, it was about the way he carried truth in his eyes, vulnerability, strength. It was like someone finally mirrored the parts of me I was too afraid to show. For most of my life, I lived in performance mode. I was always on at work, with friends, even alone. I'd smile on command, laugh when it was expected, and keep every crack sealed tight. It was exhausting. The applause came, but the emptiness stayed. No one knew how much I wanted to stop pretending. Behind the mask, I was crumbling. Each day felt like a scene in a script I hadn't written. Then I saw Jonathan Bailey speak, not just act, but speak, with a kind of raw, grounded honesty that made me pause. He wasn't trying to impress. He was simply being. And that hit me harder than anything else had in years. That moment planted a question in my mind: what would it look like to live like that? To be fully, unapologetically myself? I didn't have the answer, but I had the desire to find out. Slowly, I began to peel back the layers, quietly at first. I wrote what I really felt in a journal. I looked in the mirror and whispered the truths I'd never dared to say aloud. It was terrifying, but it was also freeing. I started speaking more honestly in conversations. I allowed myself to feel, without guilt or shame. And I noticed something strange: the world didn't collapse. People didn't run. In fact, they leaned in closer. The more I dropped the act, the more real my connections became. One night, I sat alone on my bed and let myself cry, not from sadness, but relief. For the first time in years, I felt like I was actually living in my own skin. That moment, as quiet as it was, felt like a revolution. And I realized, this was what Jonathan Bailey had modeled: not perfection, but presence. Now, I understand that authenticity isn't loud. It doesn't need a stage. It just needs honesty. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's an invitation. And when someone like Jonathan Bailey shows up in his truth, he gives the rest of us permission to do the same. So if you're tired of performing, if you feel like you've edited your true self out of your life, know this: you are allowed to return to who you are, even if it's messy, even if it's slow. You don't need to be someone else to be loved. The world doesn't need another perfect mask. It needs your truth. Just like Jonathan Bailey helped me see mine, maybe this is your moment to begin too.